Accused of cheating. Wife's best friend now wants to speak at her funeral.
All right, so accused of
Cheating.
cheating, wife's best friend now wants to speak at her funeral.
What's up with that?
It's a crazy story. I read the story. You didn't know about the story. But so basically this dude, he's been working. He's doing everything right, but I think the wife fell under depression. Postpartum, I think. She just had a baby, 6 months old, and all of that. And but he's completely left. Like, he didn't know what was going on. He didn't realize. He was just trying to support. And one day he came back from work, and then as he came back from work, he just walked in. He heard the baby crying in the room. He said he saw her with her best friend. The wife.
Saw her with her best friend. Okay.
The husband saw the wife and her
the
best friend,
Okay.
childhood best friend, sitting in the living room. I guess a quick hello, went straight to the room because he heard the baby crying to go grab the baby.
Right.
And as he was trying to take care of the baby, he heard her, the best friend, saying, he doesn't even greet you well. He's definitely doing something. He's definitely up to something, to no good. Something like that, he's definitely having an affair.
Wow.
That's what the best friend said.
Wow.
And then he heard that as he was grabbing the baby, then he came back like, what are you talking about? That was the first time he would know that his wife
was going through something.
Was suspecting that he's cheating. Now, just before that, not too long, he asked the wife that, hey, what do you think? I think because the wife is now working just to support her, they both decided that she should stay home and worry about the baby, partly because she's depressed and all of these things that he's just trying to support, right? So he said he had to pick up extra hours because of that. So they both agreed on that, but then not knowing to him, unknowingly to him, the wife was suspecting that he's lying, that's just his way to go hang out with other women.
She feels like he's lying.
She feels like he's lying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks
not
for
that
helping
he's
me.
lying.
No. She thinks that he's lying. But obviously now she's been discussing with the best friend, and the best friend is the first to now
ideas.
put it out. So they were like, he's definitely like, look at even how he can't even say proper hello to you. He went straight for the bedroom. Like he's definitely having an affair. He heard that, came back. So I'm repeating myself now, right? So he came back and said, what are you talking about? And then he was kind of shocked that even the wife he was disappointed that she would even think about that, or even think that of him at all, right? So I think she busted. Once she said, what are you talking about? The wife busted into tears and started crying, while the best friend started yelling at him.
Wow.
And said, no, you don't treat her well, blah, 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 that kind of stuff, right? And then he said, no, get out of my house. He said that to the best friend, right? And then the best friend, basically they had this argument and then walked out and then left, right? And then hugged the wife and then tried to talk to her, like we discussed this, we agreed on this, and well, they kind of talked it out and felt like, she kind of apologized too. That she's sorry, something like that. I'm not sure if I remember the whole story, but I'll tell you what happened eventually. But she's going through serious depression, and this is ongoing, but he's just finding out that it was that deep, The reason why I wanted to share this story is that some people think their husband or their wife is just deliberately trying to hurt them. Some of these people are going through stuff internally that is just another human being that you're not probably privy to, and you probably should be patient until you find out, right? Yeah. So what happened next was that eventually I think he came back from work again and then found that he walked into the house. It was just the baby that was in the house.
Oh my God.
The wife was not there. He found the baby crying by him or herself.
Oh wow.
They carried the baby, and then when she came in, she just stormed in and started accusing him again, the wife,
Of cheating.
of cheating.
Oh wow.
You know, and then she drove off, and then he carried the baby, called his mother over, right? Called his mother over, carried the baby to the mother to take, so that his mother could take care of the baby.
baby, yeah.
And then he left too, and they kind of like agreed over the phone or something that she will go stay with best friend or whatever, and then he will go stay over for a while at his mother's. Why they cleared it, like a temporary separation of sort.
Wow.
But the baby was with the mother. So she came over to the house, the guy's mother's house, and demanded to carry his baby, that she wants her baby. You know, and they're like, no, you left the baby, you need to seek help. You left the baby in the house crying by herself. You went, I was looking for you. Because he was making calls, he was already scared that maybe something happened to his wife before she stormed in. And so they had an argument again in front of the house of the mother.
Right.
And then she stormed off. And then as she stormed off, she's obviously angry. She hit a pole and she died.
Oh, what a terrible story.
So
Oh my God.
now keep in mind that the best friend is always been in the picture. You know, when you have friends that have their own issues, or they can relate in terrible toxic ways,
God.
or they have best interests supposedly, but you're listening to them advise you. They don't mean to advise you, they're just talking, it's just gist. But all these little gist are planting really, really negative seeds, right? So now she died.
Wow.
Remember, they're not exactly separate. This is a temporary situation, right? Now they're planning the funeral. She wants to speak at the funeral. The best friend
of the wife.
want to have a speech at the funeral. And he's feeling some type of way about that. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And the parents of the wife are saying this is her best friend since childhood,
Right.
right? She has to speak, and he's feeling some type of way about that. Now, this is a terrible story.
It is a sad story.
You know,
Very sad. Oh my God.
you know, the thing with this kind of story is this. I'm trying to, what do you think? Should she be able to speak at the funeral? You know, we're not solving the marriage now because she's dead. But this is still relationships at stake. He wants to be in good relationship with his mother and father-in-law
Right.
because of the baby.
Right.
So that he can move on peacefully too, right? He has no choice but to move on, right? Now there's this question, right? She accused
Him of cheating.
him of cheating. She hated, you can hate anybody, she's an adult too, but put yourself in that man's shoes, right?
Right.
He can't help but to see, like, my wife is dead, I have to point fingers at you, are you kidding me?
Right.
Maybe, like I always preach to people, don't point fingers, but
Oh, it's kind of tough.
it's tough when somebody is caught up in their emotions too,
Yeah.
to ask him not to point fingers when his wife is gone.
Yeah.
They never had any major problem. She was suspicious, and she fed into this, like, he's definitely cheating from this best friend, right? I guess the lesson here is be careful who you get advice from. Seek
Absolutely.
professionals who are objective, who can
Absolutely.
help you unpack. And your friends, your mother, your father, they may have good intentions. Good intentions are overrated
But they are biased, you know,
by default.
by default. So
You know,
you might not want to talk to them about that. You might want to seek professional
keep those things
help.
separate.
Yes, separate it. Especially if you have a best friend that you know she's had terrible times in her relationship. She's not. You have to surround yourself with people who want the best for your marriage.
Yeah.
In honesty, people that you look up to, you see that they have nice marriage. You want to be like them, even though we should not really be being like people, but we do tend to have mentors. You appreciate the way they live their life. Look up to people like that. Those people will not advise you, that they won't give you bad advice. For the most part, they will want to tell you, okay, pray about it, or calm you down.
Yeah.
But if it's your family, they are biased. They will want to
You
make
wanna be
you feel
careful
better.
unless-
They want to fight for you.
Right.
you know, they want to fight your husband, and you gotta be careful.
The only exception here is if you really feel like your life or your mental health is threatened, and the first person you can think of that you feel like you can lay on their shoulder, at least temporarily, is your family, close family member. They can be a strong core for you. But we're talking precisely when they give you advices or they have opinions, very strong opinions. You want to be careful with that.
Yeah.
They can be your emotional tampon. You can lay on their shoulder while you try to sort through things, but they may have good intentions for you, but they're not professionals.
That's sad.
What did you? So should she speak at the event, at the funeral?
I mean, you know, if it's somebody that is sensitive, they might be able to say, maybe I should not speak. Maybe I should just take myself out. If that's somebody that really thinks, but because he has no control over it, I think he should just make peace with himself.
Yes.
And don't.
Unfortunately,
I mean, whatever. Because
unfortunately,
he can't stop her from speaking, especially when the parents are like, "That's our best friend," blah 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 blah. Now you're gonna look like the bad person, or you're trying to hide something.
You can't control other human beings.
Yeah.
Especially that the parents are involved. It's not just your saying. If you had the authority, I'll say you could do whatever you want.
Right.
But you know, she has parents, and you know, so I would just.
And you still want to be in a relationship with them.
I will focus on your own mental health right now, and that starts with understanding that no one event is gonna make any difference with regards to that. You know.
Yeah.
So.
And he has to go deal with. You know, guilt is a terrible thing. It can actually.
He can start feeling guilty too.
People. So he needs to seek help when it comes to that. Don't feel guilty about that. You could not control the situation.
Yep.
And you know, just make peace with yourself and God. That's all I can say.
Yep.